Today I'm going to walk you through 5 home inspection red flags. And that's going to be in simple language. I'm trying to keep it simple. If you're a woman over 60 buying a downsized home in Los Angeles, please watch this before you sign anything. You would ask me why. Well, experience has shown that after you've been in your family home for 30 years, you walk into a condo on the west side or a smaller home in the valley, and it looks beautiful. Fresh paint, new floors, but underneath, there could be things that cost you tens of thousands of dollars after you move in, and nobody has told you anything about it. So by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to look for. And if you want me to connect you with one of the inspectors that I have worked with in the past, please feel free to reach out. My contact info is in the description of this video. So the red flag number 1 is a shaky foundation. Let's start from the ground up, literally. Here in Los Angeles, the ground moves. That's just a fact. So the first and most critical red flag is any sign of foundation trouble. Your inspector is going to be hunting for big horizontal cracks in the foundation and doors or windows that are out of alignment. You know, those doors that you have a hard time opening. These are all classic signs that the house is shifting in a way that it really shouldn't be. But in Los Angeles, we have to take it one step further and talk about earthquakes. So many of our charming older homes, especially those built before 1980s, went up before modern seismic codes. You'll hear the inspectors talking about cripple walls and foundation bolting. If those walls aren't braced with plywood, they can just buckle during an earthquake. Same goes for foundation bolts. So why is this a potential deal breaker? First, your safety. If you're planning to live here for a long time, an unsecured home is just not an option. Second is the cost. Bolting and bracing is usually a manageable expense, but fixing a foundation that's already seriously damaged could be very expensive. You can easily run into tens of thousands of dollars to fix that. And good luck with insurance, because getting insurance is getting more and more difficult in California. Red flag number 2 is the silent killer of homes: water. It's relentless. It will rot out the structure of a house, mess with the foundation, and grow some truly nasty mold. An inspector uses their eyes, their nose, and sometimes a moisture meter to hunt for it. They're looking for the obvious stuff like water stains on the ceiling, but also the subtle clues: peeling paint, warped floorboards, or that faint musty smell that you smell it in a basement, for example. In Los Angeles, water problems often come from our unique landscape. Besides the usual leaky roofs and old pipes, we have our hillside properties. On a home in the Hollywood Hills, if the grading and drainage are bad, rainwater can be channeled directly against the foundation. That creates a ton of pressure and leads to leaks and serious structural damage. So why is it so bad? Because what you see is almost always just the tip of the iceberg. That little stain on the ceiling, it could be from a huge roof leak that's been rotting out in the attic for years, creating a perfect environment for mold. And mold isn't just ugly, it's a health hazard that requires professional remediation, which costs a fortune. Water damage is expensive to fix. It can be bad for your health, and trust me, chasing leaks around your new house is a miserable way to live. If an inspector finds major signs of water, you absolutely have to get a specialist to investigate further, or just walk away. The red flag number 3 is basically a ticking time bomb. So many of Los Angeles neighborhoods are full of homes built in 20s, 30s, and 40s, and they've got so much character, but they can also have an outdated electrical system. This is a red flag that screams fire hazard. There are a few things that an inspector is looking for. Absence of ground wiring that you'll find in homes built before 1950s. A key safety feature that protects you from electric shock. Then there is aluminum wiring, used for a bit in the 60s and 70s, which is notorious for loose connections that can overheat and start a fire. Other red flags are like old fuse box instead of a modern breaker panel, or a panel that's a known troublemaker and no longer used. And this is where insurance companies can throw a wrench in your plans, because these electrical problems don't automatically make a home horrible. But a lot of carriers in California will simply refuse to write a policy on a home with electrical issues. Or they will charge you an enormous amount of premium to just give you that insurance. You have to remember, a full rewire of a house is a massive job. It's messy, with electricians cutting holes in your beautiful plaster walls, and it's expensive. If you're downsizing, are you really ready for that kind of project right after moving in? It's a serious safety and budget risk that you have to consider. Now, if you're finding this kind of information useful about buying and selling in Los Angeles, do me a favor and subscribe. It really helps other buyers finding videos like this. And if you want more of this sort of content, please let me know. Now let's get back to our video about red flag number 4. Which is completely invisible when you're touring a home. It has nothing to do with the pipes under the sink. It's about the main sewer line that runs from the house all the way to the street. A standard home inspection is visual, meaning the inspector can't see inside the pipe. And that's exactly why a separate sewer camera inspection, which is called sewer scope, is one of the smartest investments you can make, especially on a house built before 1980s. So many older LA homes have their original sewer lines made out of clay or cast iron. After decades, these pipes can crack, collapse, or get totally choked out by roots from those beautiful mature trees that we admire. A sewer scope is just a camera on a long cable that will feed down the line, and you can exactly see what's going on. Why is this a potential deal breaker? 2 words. It's costly. Repairing or replacing a main sewer line is a shockingly expensive and messy job. If the break is under your yard, they're digging a trench right through your landscaping. If it's under the driveway, or worst case scenario, under the street, the cost can be even more. You're not just paying for plumbing, you're paying to tear everything up and then put it all back again. It's not rare for a full sewer line replacement in Los Angeles to cost anywhere between $5,000 to $15,000 and sometimes even more, depending on the problem and the location of the property. So it's not a repair you can just put off. A failed sewer line means raw sewage backing up in your home, and you don't want to skip the sewer scope. The few $100s it costs could easily save you thousands of dollars. The last red flag is about the roof. If the roof is at the end of its life, then replacing it would be a huge expense. And it often leads to other problems like that water damage that we talked earlier. Replacing a roof is one of the most expensive things you can ever do for a home. Here in Los Angeles, the costs are usually higher than national average because of labor and code requirements. A new roof can easily set you back $15,000 to $20,000, or sometimes more, depending on the size of the home and the material you choose. To wrap it all up, there are 5 big red flags: a shaky or unretrofitted foundation, any sign of water, outdated and dangerous electrical system, and a failing sewer line that can cause you problems, and lastly, the roof. For anyone who is downsizing and looking forward to a trouble-free, safe house, paying attention to these 5 areas is absolutely critical. Your goal is peace of mind, and that starts with knowing exactly what you're buying, good, bad, and the ugly. If you're starting your home search in Los Angeles and you want a partner who will help you look past the pretty staging to see the real story of a home, my contact information is in the description of this video. I'll be honored to help you navigate this market and make a smart, confident move. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next, same time, same place.